pop culture. Everything is permitted.
Welcome to episode 102 of Everything is Permitted here at the OG EIP Studios. I am your captain and host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-host, the Man of Steel, Matt Reppert, and the Master of Puns, Brittany Tomes. Another day, another week. It's paradise. How we doing?
I'm alive! I live, bitch! That's what I wanted to say all month.
Brittany, bitch.
That's right. Guess who can walk at a moderate pace now? Guess who can go up and down stairs shakily? This bitch.
Who doesn't have to have Julian tie her shoes anymore?
Yeah, who can tie her own shoes? Who doesn't cry on the toilet? This bitch.
Oh, God.
You don't know how good it feels. Like, I feel basically normal, except for, like, when I go to do certain things, and I'm like, oh, wait, no, you're still weak. So, I want to go running. I won't, though.
That's...
Yeah, you don't want to push that too fast.
Gonna build the muscle up? Yeah, but I'm just, like, my body's so excited. It's like, do a backflip, do this! And I'm like, no.
Judo jump.
Like, you never knew how to do a backflip, but now you want to. Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Watched the Union yesterday. That was a awesome draw. It was one.
Isn't that better than the Sixers, though?
Oh, my God, I watched that.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I found out they lost, I actually laughed. I almost laughed hysterically. Yeah. And then I put up that post on Facebook where I just said, I'm a time traveler from 2014. Hey, the process work, guys. I know we were all tired of getting first or second round playoff exits.
Did you see the side-by-side comparison of Jacob's goal against, who was it?
LAFC.
Versus his goal against Atlanta? It's like so fucking similar.
I know that they're doing the whole thing of which one was better. The Atlanta goal is better because it's the run of play. And it's funny too because watching the replay, I don't think Guzan can see it coming at first because he kind of leans to his left like he's trying to look around a player, and all of a sudden he kind of goes like, oh shit, like he realizes it's coming fast.
If you're not a sports fan and you're listening to the show and you're wondering why we're talking about this goal, I don't know how to explain it, but even if you're not a sports fan, you should just watch it because it's like the announcer on ESPN said, it was from like another area code. He just shoots it like pinballs like a pinball wizard off the goalpost and like in and out and back in again. And it was just a thing of beauty, man. It was
the best part is that we watched it at I don't know if you know. I'm sure you know Richie. Yeah. We watched it at Richie's place in Jersey, and it's funny because like later in the game, we noticed that Glesnes was constantly dribbling the ball up the field, and Richie, who is English, for those who don't know, so of course he has the accent. He goes, "Oh, Glesnes, have a poke, lad." It's so goddamn funny.
Oh man, that was incredible. The other best part about that was just so many people have posted about it. Just the silence in Mercedes-Benz Stadium afterwards, because it was just.
Well, they went from being 2 goals up to tying in less than 10 minutes.
It felt like a win. It
was fantastic.
Might as well be a win.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we could just talk soccer for one more minute, we got to real talk the Union real quick though, because the rest of that team, including the midfield and the striking core, can learn a thing or two from Jacob. It's not scary to shoot the ball. You don't have to look for the perfect pass. Mm-hmm. Be more like Jacob Glesnes, who's a center back. Be more like Kristen Press.
I was about to say, shots on goal.
Shots on goal.
Or sheer percentage of shots on goal, whether they get in or not. That increases your chances of scoring.
Shoot the fucking ball.
Just fucking shoot the ball.
Seriously.
You're close enough, do it.
So many goals could have been scored had they just not looked for the pass last night. And anyway.
Sometimes if you shoot, even if it's not going to happen, it might hit off of somebody and then another player can get it and get the goal for you.
Well, that's how they got the first goal. Yeah. Guzan couldn't corral the shot and it literally just bobbled it away and Burke just tapped it in.
Eat that shit through the net.
Soccer, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason it's called the beautiful game.
Woo!
Right. This week on the show, this is, again, not a soccer podcast. We do talk about it from time to time. We are toking.
Are we?
We're token, baby.
Are we?
If I was, I'd be real mad about my Dunkin' sandwich right now.
Do you want to briefly touch on it?
I thought you were going to rant about it.
No, go. Because
it's not enough for rants and raves, but guys, I got a Dunkin' breakfast sandwich because I was so hungry. Like, I'm on my way here from work, and then they forgot the egg part of my breakfast sandwich. It's just cheese and bacon in a bagel. Like nothing on the bagel, you know what I mean? It's just cheese and bacon in a bagel.
It's so fucking sad and pathetic that before we started recording, I offered to fry an egg for Brittany because, I mean, like, how do you forget the fucking egg It's the
in
egg.
a breakfast sandwich. You know, that's the vehicle of the sandwich.
The vehicle.
I would have accepted they forgot the bagel and egg, bacon, and cheese.
Dropped it in the bag.
I would have been like, they took it literally. They forgot the
Carb-free.
sandwich part, but they got at least the core. Nope.
This is the same Dunkin' Donuts that has forgotten to put coffee in my coffee.
Or who forgot to give me a straw.
Wait, they just hand you an empty cup.
No,
here you go, buddy.
it was literally white. It was like milk and sugar.
When they were training a new
coffee.
person, they forgot to give me my straw 3 weeks in a row. And then the guy commented on it the next time I was there. He's like, "Here's your straw. It's in the bag. Sorry, we forgot the last 4 times you were here." And I was like, "Thank you." It's the worst because at Wade's I didn't have a straw, so I would just awkwardly sip on it under my mask. It's terrible.
Anyway, don't forget the fucking egg. Come on, man.
Right?
Come on. It's Bush League. It's Bush League.
Just very much a first world problem for everybody. We have so many
I don't know, man. If I was someone who was maybe in the second or third world, especially, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I got my monthly, maybe bi-monthly bacon, egg, and cheese that I've been saving my cash for, and they didn't put the fucking egg in there, I'd be calling corporate.
This is why Dunkin' Donuts doesn't exist.
Imagine some poor, destitute, Indian person somehow listens to our podcast and goes, "That is an outrage. She did not get her egg on her breakfast sandwich."
I don't think that will be an issue.
No, I don't think so. All right, guys. Finally, let's get into this week. We are talking, not toking, we are talking Loki episode 2, which is called The Variant. And Loki is, or I should say Mobius is in some hot water for recruiting Loki. Plus, we actually get a look at that Deviant, which is a nice surprise. I was very excited to talk about this episode. And then it's another episode of The Bad Batch.
Julian's done.
I'm done. I'm done. We'll get there. There's more familiar faces. There's some bullshit. We're gonna get to that. I'm not happy. And then finally, we take a look at some of the highlights from what was in otherwise kind of lackluster E3 2021. It's gonna be a little bit of a lackluster show. Loki was good.
E3 was fun though.
I kind of disagree about E3 a little bit.
E3 was how I expected it was.
Well, okay, that's fair. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Before we do, Brittany, how can people support our show?
If you want to support our show, maybe financially, you can head over to everythingispermitted.com, hit our drop-down tab, and select Patreon. There it'll shoot you over to our Patreon page. You can select the tiers of either $2 a month or $5 a month. Either way, you're helping our show out, and we really, really, really appreciate it. You also get really awesome stickers that have yet to peel off of any of the objects we put that on including my car through all weather. And you get shout-outs on our show if you're one of our EIP VIPs, which is the EIP $5 tier. And yeah, you get access, early access to our episodes, bonus content, blah, blah, blah. You can join a Facebook group, which is really fun, and people can talk, share memes, or let us know what you want to hear us talk about on the show.
Indeed. And speaking of our Eat Veeps, Matt, who are we thanking this week?
Much like Alanis Morissette, although not quite, but we are giving thanks to Billy Peets, Heather Reppert, Rob Migliaccio, Michael Cox, Nikki Veazey, Matt Moore, Cabria Wimbush, Rob Carter, the McClintons, Kyle and Connor, and Nick Castellano.
Thank you, Eat Veeps, you guys rock.
Thank you for being a patron.
Thank you for being an Eat Veep.
Beep.
Beep. Beep, beep. Guys, if you can't support our show financially, we ask that if you do like our show and you haven't gotten around to doing so yet, you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That helps get our show out to more people, and it would be much appreciated. If you have a 1-star, just come into my backyard.
Step into my boudoir.
Yeah, I'll dig a hole. Anyway, no, I promise I won't hurt you too much.
We will make you look at my egg sandwich, though.
We will. That'll be your punishment for
bad.
leaving us a 1-star review. You could look at Brittany's pathetic not egg sandwich.
Jesus.
Her thaw egg sandwich. Let's get into some rants and raves. Who wants to go first? I have something, so I'm ready to go.
All right, we'll go. You're excited.
I am. I'm very excited. This is a rant that goes into a rave because it's connected. I'm very excited. So, for the past year or so, Karen and I have been struggling with the idea or flirting with the idea of cutting the cord. And every time we do, we don't think it's financially worth it. You're still paying the same amount mostly for
cable.
Cable.
I literally didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, what the fuck?
Sorry, cable. Cutting cable, if you don't know what cutting the cord means. Well, Well, I noticed as I was going through my finances, as people do, that my bill went up yet again for Xfinity.
Comcast.
Yeah, dude. And this is for just number's sake. My bill started at $175 a month. That was for internet and like premium channels, like getting all the movie channels because I watch that shit. So $175 for those. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Well, about a year later, that went up to $212, and that was still somewhat manageable. And I don't even think, not even a year later, all of a sudden I look at my bill this month, and the past couple of months I didn't notice it had gone up. $238. We're closing in on $250 a month just to watch TV and have internet.
That's almost as much as I pay for health insurance.
Well, I finally was like, this can't be right anymore. So I did the math, and with everything that we signed up for, Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus bundle, Paramount Plus, you name it, HBO Max, which actually comes with Xfinity, we were paying close to $3,500 yearly for all of that. Yeah, yearly.
That's a big number, guys.
That's a big fucking number. So I did some math, and just to do Xfinity Internet and Disney not Disney, Hulu, the Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus bundle.
Hulu has less sports.
Yeah, well, but like just like the not live TV with no ads, we'd be saving just doing that option $1,300 a year. $1,300 a year. So then I was like, okay, well, let me see, because I still need sports and my live TV.
This is Streaming Wars Part 8.
Yes.
This is amazing.
And then I was like, okay, but how about the Hulu live TV bundle? Still saving almost $700-800 a year. So that's what we did. Actually, and it ends up being more because we cut our cord finally. They were like, oh, because we have to kind of like re-sign you up. You can keep your same internet, but also you're getting $15 off of it for 2 years. So it was going to be like $100, and it's like $85. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So we cut the cord, and it feels so good. Like, I disconnected my cable box today, and the Hulu Live TV works really well. Like, I think the quality is actually better than cable. Mm-hmm. It's like there's something.
I'm picturing Office Space right now. Like, you're taking like your cable box out back, and you're just gonna start stomping on it, like hitting it with a baseball bat.
Start punching it.
But the part of this that's a rant is like when I was like on my calculator and doing all the math and realizing how much I was spending and how much these big fucking companies like steal out of you. It's like stealing. It's so bad. I had never been so mad at seeing like the money I could be saving at something. Like I had that like,
it's like, this is a whole sideshow statue, damn it.
I had that dad moment of like, oh my God. Like
someone turned the thermostat up.
Yeah, someone turned the thermostat
or down.
up. Anyway, we cut the cord. We have the Hulu Live TV bundle now. It's great. I love it. We don't get ABC, which is a little bit of a problem for union games, but I think you could stream them on the website. So, or my PHL, sorry. So it's not a huge deal. Anywho, I cut the cord. We did it. It happened.
We did it.
Glorious. Yeah. So that's that. And you save money by signing up yearly. Now, this is not an ad. We are not getting paid for this. You save money by signing up yearly for HBO Max. So, yeah, all the money saving and cord cutting. So there you go. Anyway, that's it.
Dude, my brain went so dark when you're like, we're going to cut the cord. And I'm just like, who's dying? Or like, is this the baby being involved? Like, my brain went through like all the possible scenarios. And then I was like, what did Julian talk about recently? And I was like, oh, cable. But like, I seriously was like, he's pulling the plug on someone. Like, what's going on?
We're going to, I was about to say, that'd be kind of awkward. Like, this starts out as a ramp and becomes a rave. We're going to kill somebody. It's going to be so great.
Yeah, we killed Xfinity. They're dead. They're gone.
That's the plot of the next Final Fantasy game. Gotta kill chaos. I mean, Xfinity.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who else? Rant, rave, both. Hit it.
I have 2 raves that basically happened over the weekend. So I finally watched Trace on Netflix, which is an anime that was created from this Filipino comic book. And it's really cool. It's like supernatural. Like, you got this detective that uses like dark magic and stuff. And she basically keeps balance between the human world and like the supernatural world. So it's not just like she's always fighting demons and stuff. Like, sometimes humans can be the bad people, whatever. And it's very cool, and all the creatures and stuff are based off of Filipino folklore. Ooh. So it's a nice twist because, like, you know, we've seen all of the sort of European or anglicized fairy tales thousands of times. Like, if a, you know, big bad wolf shows up, we're like, yeah, we know, we've seen your plot like 8 different times. But you see some of these people, and you're just like, well, I don't know, is this a good or bad creature? Like, how do they interact with the world? And it's cool. It all takes place in Manila, so they have a really awesome like voice cast. It's like all Filipino voice actors, and yeah, it was really fun. It's not very long. I think it was only like maybe 6 or 8 episodes. My cousin and I just binged them all at once, but we really enjoyed it. And there's one what the fuck moment in the show, and we're like, eh. But yeah, largely enjoyable, and it makes me want to look into the folklore later. Like now that I know certain characters, I want to be like, okay, well, I want to learn about their original story that they're from, or like, where does this come from? So. That was neat. And then my other rave is Rick and Morty came back for season 5 last night.
I gotta watch it tonight. I got it recorded.
I won't spoil anything, but it actually it felt nice. Like I legitimately was laughing out loud with my cousin. Like he's also one of those people that I watch Rick and Morty with, so it's like him and my brother. Mm-hmm. So I normally enjoy the show more when I'm watching it with them because we just like laugh about stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was a good season premiere. We had to rewatch like the last episode of last season to remember like where the fuck did this go off? Like right before it came on. But oh my god, a character that they bring in that's like Rick's nemesis just cracked me the fuck up. Like every single time he talked in the episode, like everything he did, I was just
I think I saw that's
this guy?
He's kind of like the Aquaman.
He looks like Namor.
Yeah.
But like, oh my god. Anyway, I won't ruin it. His name is Mr. Nimbus, though, and every single thing he did, we called like everything in the episode, but it was still like just the funniest. It was just wild. And I was like, it feels good to be back. This is probably going to be the last season because I'm like, how long are they going to keep this weird shit up?
Do you think so?
They've renewed it for like 10 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
wow.
Okay. I'm not surprised.
Absurdly long extension.
I just hope it's like, doesn't take them like 85 years to come back every time, though.
Well, this one wasn't as bad.
It was only
as the
like
last
2
one.
years, yeah.
Yeah, because before they were negotiating the extension, and then they got, as I said, it's an insanely long extension. Maybe it's not 10 seasons, but it's a lot of seasons they got. It's not like 1 or 2. It was like damn near double digits.
It just made me crack up. I enjoyed every character in that.
Is Mike McMahon still associated with Rick or Morty, or is he fully focused on Lower Decks right now?
I think he might just be doing Lower Decks, because I didn't see his name like with the producer stuff. I don't know. I didn't really look for his name, but
I'm happy that animation seems to be getting more and more steam in the United States, when before it was like just the kids thing and nobody really bothered.
And then you had
it.
some edgy stuff like
like
Guy.
Fritz the Cat or something from back in the day, but the idea of we can make animation that is adult oriented, like Invincible and stuff like that, you know, shows and movies and such. I'm very happy that we're finally going that route that we should have gone years ago.
Oh, plug for anybody who is interested in watching Tracy. Sumali Montano is in it. So if you like her from Ghost of Tsushima and everything else I've ranted about, in the last year, because I am a Sumali stan, yeah, check it out. She's a character in that show. Won't say who. Wait for you to find out.
Oh, God.
Okay, so with E3 recently, Xbox had a bunch of games on sale. Like, I'm talking just an absolute crap ton. And so I bought a few games that I'd always been interested in that I was like, you know what, I'll take the plunge, because it was like $5 to $10 per game.
The polar plunge.
But I picked up, so one game I will highlight is I picked up Elite Dangerous, a game that has always interested me because, so a slight bit of history about me. I grew up playing games like Wing Commander and more specifically Privateer.
Wing Commander!
Yeah. Don't get me started on the movie.
She held together. I love this baby.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
Anyway, but so I grew up playing those games where you're flying around space, you're doing the whole like, hey, pick up some goods and take them to this planet. And, you know, back in the day, you'd have to like kind of do the math like, all right, if I buy them at like 400 credits, and how much can I sell it for? What would my profit margin be?
Yeah.
So I kind of had missed that experience. So I fired up Elite Dangerous, and let me tell you something. If you've never played it, it is quite possibly the largest map I have ever seen. And I'm not just talking like, oh, there's there's just, it is like, it is actual space damn near, because you start out in this little station where you fly around, you get your little license, and the guy's literally like, all right, go off and do your own thing. And I opened up the map and I'm like, oh, this is cool. There's like a bunch of little planets and stations I can go to and all that. And then I started zooming out, and then I zoomed out further, and then I realized it's a galaxy.
You're like, I can keep zooming.
Oh, there's like sectors in the galaxy. Like, it is massive. It actually blew my mind. I haven't had a game do that in a while, where I was literally just kind of like, whoa. And now I'm currently in the process of trying to get to this one sector where supposedly I can buy like a lot of parts and such for my ship, because I'm trying to upgrade or you can get a better ship, and I'm trying to get fuel. So I'm like,
he's like, I gotta reach there first.
I'm like scooping it from a star. Right, I actually have the game paused right now at my house because I'm flying around a star like scooping up hydrogen. Like, oh man, I hope this is enough to get me there.
I've played Elite Dangerous. I had it for a bit, and I have friends who played it, but partly because of the time commitment, I just couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, you legit feel like you're flying a starship, because you can do the whole look around the cockpit.
Controls are a little hard to get used to.
Yeah, because obviously it was made for PC originally, so in order to translate that to console, they had to do some shortcuts. So there's some stuff that the game doesn't really tell you about in terms of how it operates. Like, there's a difference between jumping and cruising, for example, because I remember at one point it's like activating super cruise, and I'm like, what the hell is the super cruise, and why am I activating it, and what is the difference between jumping? But yeah, Elite Dangerous, it's a very good looking game, and it has no mercy whatsoever on you. Like, you don't know what you're doing, good luck. You're gonna be floating around and flying into a planet or a star and burning your ass up.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's a good game.
I
wish I could have kept up with it.
Yeah, I just want to know where I can buy another starship. That's the one thing I'm kind of like, all right, where can I see how much it is, so I know what goal to work towards, so I can like get even better and do bigger missions and all that other fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
Can you do a barrel roll though?
You can.
I can 100% do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll.
You having the game paused right now at home reminds me of when I first played Star Fox, and I was going to, I think, kindergarten or first grade or something, but I had to, like, there was no save at the time, and I was about to fight Andros, so my brother and I paused the game, turned off the TV, and put a blanket over the system so you couldn't hear it running. And then we went to work, and then I came back. I remember I was, like, running home from school with my brother, and I was like, we gotta beat Andros. And then we came back and we did.
Oh, was it so fun? Nobody messed with it?
Yeah, because my parents didn't know. They didn't hear it or anything. My grandpa didn't.
Anything else? Rants, raves? No? Good?
Nah.
Okay, then it is time for
the minute that is permitted.
It's time for the permitted minute.
The vessel with the pestle has the minute that is permitted?
Sure.
It is the permitted minute, and we are going to go here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Gatus, start the clock.
Just say my name. DC and Warner Brothers have given us our first look at the cast from Shazam! Fury of the Gods, all suited up.
Set photos from the upcoming Flash film have now confirmed that Michael Keaton is reprising his role as Bruce Wayne Batman. Plus, we got our first glimpse of Sasha Calle as Supergirl.
After 6 months of banishment, Cyberpunk 2077 has made its return to the PlayStation Store, albeit with a warning that players may still experience performance issues.
Speaking of embarrassment, this week Call of Duty Warzone players found a door within the game that, if touched, would instantly kill you.
Heading back to Gotham, Robert Pattinson, Colin Farrell are headed back to Scotland for reshoots on the upcoming Batman film from Matt Reeves.
Back into gaming, Battlefield 4 server capacity had to be extended after gamers started playing the game again following the Battlefield 2042 reveal, which I find kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I guess people are like, you don't play something for a while, and you're probably going to be playing the shit out of Battlefield.
I mean,
when it comes out.
I get it. They kind of want to go, but like you still got Battlefield 1, which was better than most
I loved
of the
Battlefield 1, but who knows like what the who's still playing that, and if people are even like playing Battlefield 5.
Well, people still
I like Battlefield 1.
Fun fact, I actually did not like Battlefield 5 when it came out, and I bought like about a month ago I bought like the entire deluxe edition because it was on sale. And it's actually fun because they really improved it. Like all the stuff they added in.
In Battlefield 5?
Yeah, I actually have been having a really good time with it.
I really liked Battlefield 1. I liked the scope of Battlefield 1, and I loved sniping, speaking of scopes,
pew, pew.
Of Battlefield 1.
You made a pun.
I'm stoked. I said this last week for Battlefield 2042. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it was a neat trailer.
But that's it. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week. We only had 6 items on the per minute. A lot of it just came from E3, so we weren't going to ruin the per minute with the stuff we're going to be talking about later. For now, though, let's get into the second episode of Loki, the variant. And Matt, we will start with you. Your thoughts on the second episode.
It continues the series. Like, basically, it's excellence. It was really good. Heather and I watched it again. We both really enjoyed it. Obviously, you know, we'll discuss the big reveal at the end of the episode. I like the whole thing about like, oh, there's disasters and so you kind of think in your head, well, they're just going to keep going back in time. Nope, going to go forward into the future and fuck around there with a disaster that will quote happen.
Yep,
so
I dug it.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. It was another solid episode, and I don't know. I really enjoy the show. Like, I kind of look forward to it every week, even if I don't watch it immediately on like Wednesday, because I tend to never until like right before we're going to record. I'm like, I should
have to find the time too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it is like an hour long, so you're just like, I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it tomorrow. But yeah, I liked what they did. I was waiting to see the reveal that happened. Like, I knew it was going to happen in the show, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. So I like that they did it with that specific character, if that makes any sense.
No, it was cool. It was really cool. This show so far is at least living up to WandaVision. It is definitely better than the first 2 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier so far. Tom Hiddleston was born to play this role. I mean, he's just so freaking good as Loki. And Owen Wilson has just been a treat to watch alongside him.
Right? He's just fun. Sometimes he'll finish a scene and I go, wow. Wow.
Oh, I feel like they're going to have him say that at some point in the show. Like, you can't cast Owen Wilson and have him go, wow.
One of my favorite scenes from this episode, and Karen, for some reason, wasn't laughing. I don't know if she was just tired. I thought it was fucking hilarious. When he took his salad, I was like, don't take my salad. That's my lunch. Yeah. And Loki's like, the salt is an apocalypse, and this is this. And Owen Wilson is just looking like, this dude has literally ruined my lunch. He doesn't even care about what Loki is saying. Oh, I just thought it was so good. And the little moments with Eugene Cordero. It's like, and Eugene Cordero saw him like pop up, like stealing the fight. I was like, you.
Yep. This is background character number 3. You.
I love that most of this episode took place within the Atlanta Marriott, which is where Dragon Con is held every year. And
we're all great sci-fi things.
Yeah, we're all great sci-fi things.
Like, wow, what an amazing scientific building. And you're like, yes, this is the Atlanta Marriott.
But I just liked Loki being Loki. Like, that's what you want to watch in a Loki series.
He's low-key our fave.
Yeah, I mean, how can he not be? But that whole lunch scene, it wasn't even like belly laughs. It was just like, oh, like... That was really funny.
He's like, anytime you're excited to explain stuff to people and you're like, this might sound crazy, but, and then you do your like,
and you do your whole spiel.
Theory,
yeah.
And then you're just like, yeah, it was a messy metaphor, but I'm right. Speaking of Tom Hiddleston, you know, being an amazing actor and everything, I liked that when they were going through like the various like apocalypse levels, etc., he came across like Ragnarok for Asgard and that tear in his eye, but then he like, later on when he goes to explain his whole hash out theory and stuff, you know, Morbius is just like, oh yeah, I'm very sorry about that. Like, all your people died. And he's like, yeah. But, and like, you know, he's playing it off, but you know that he feels emotions about stuff. And he does that so well. Where like, he doesn't want to show anybody that he actually cares, but he does.
The line delivery was so perfect there, right? Because he says Ragnarok and very tragic in 2 very different ways.
Exactly.
Because he has that slight tinge of, holy shit, I'm like having some trauma right now because Asgard's gone, but also I need to like be Loki. So he's like, Ragnarok? End of the world? Very, very tragic. Very tragic.
Yeah, he's like, very whatever. Tragic. Anyway, he's like, this is where the variant could be hiding. Right in the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes sense. Checks out.
Yep.
I have no qualms with this time travel, if you've noticed. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not understanding any of the time travel shit. I don't care though.
That's fine.
I think it's fun. So like, I don't give a shit. I'm having fun with the series. Speaking of having fun, let's get to the big reveal right out of the way. This show has done something that I've been begging for so many other shows to do, and that is get the big reveal out of the way early. Like, I hate, like, 8 episodes in, here's finally the big reveal. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I thought they were going to do it right away in the episode because the first few minutes of the episode, they kept, like, Mobius kept saying, we got to catch this guy. We got to do this. And the more they said guy, I was like, okay.
Right.
that's why they're saying it so much. So like I was waiting for it too, and I'm glad it happened during the episode at some point.
I was also happy with the reveal, and I was very glad that Loki wasn't this just jumping between different people entity for most of the season, because I would have been like, all right, I've seen this before.
Like, reveal
Please
it, damn
stop.
Though everyone the Loki does go into is a neat little moment.
Yeah.
Right? The variant Loki that the TVA are hunting is a female version of the character, which the minute you kind of actually saw her, like her silhouette right before she left, I was like, oh, hey, that's a girl, which was neat. And of course, it being Marvel, it probably goes a lot deeper than it just being like a female version of the character, right? This version of Loki, based off of the case file, that if you're one of those like, eagle-eyed watchers, is Sylvie Laufey-daughter, which is, if you're in Icelandic, it's Laufey-son or Laufey-daughter, depending on mother, daughter, who raised you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Sylvie Laufey-daughter, this is a name usually associated with the Marvel villain Enchantress, but in all likelihood, Marvel's probably just lifting the name.
They do that shit so much.
I'm going to you first, though, because...
Thoughts?
Enchantress, Sylvie.
Yeah, I was going to say, before this series happened, like, it was always a thing that they knew that female Loki would show up in the Loki show. So you were, like, the whole thing is we're just thinking that, does Tom Hiddleston, like, turned into a female version of him for part of the show? Like, how does it show up?
That would have been a cool little plot twist,
but
too.
I feel like they wouldn't want to take screen time away from him.
No.
So that's why I was trying to see. I was like, will it happen here, or will it happen in, like, Thor Love and Thunder, because they're already doing like a female Thor thing there. So I've known, because like the comics have jumped up in price and stuff, and like I have to know ahead of time like how to price things, how to sell them.
Well, and especially for
comic purposes.
Well,
auctions and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I recently did Loki auctions where it was like the first time he turns into, like a dog or a wolf, or first time Loki's female, and I even put like rumored to happen on the Loki show. So like I've been prepared for that. But even when they were saying like you're going to hunt down your own variant, I was just like, it's going to be Loki, but I don't know, they could do any form of him, that sort of thing. So I like that right away in the beginning of the episode, they're like, here's a bunch of different variants we've seen of Loki. And when they didn't show any as female, I was like, this one's female variant Loki.
Wait, you weren't said that we weren't getting Beefcake Loki?
Okay, could you imagine? But then it was also the amount of times that Morbius was just like, he's going to help us catch this guy. And I was like, they're saying that because it's not going to be a guy. Yeah. This is so great. And I love that. That being said, it is interesting that it is blonde-haired female Loki, which is more Enchantress than... Because normally Loki will have dark brown hair, black hair like in the comics when he switches over and is like, time to be female Loki. Sometimes he's like, I'm both, I'm neither, whatever. And Thor's always like, I love it, brother. I love it, sister.
I do think
I love it, sibling.
I do think having blonde hair is a design choice, because if she has dark hair, she might look too much like Hela from...
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't think about it that way.
Because Hela also had like the green outfit.
Do you like the broken horn?
Yes. Well, no, they're not broken, right? They're just smaller, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, there's one long one, and the other one's like...
I have to check that.
Yeah, I'll have to recheck that.
I was pretty sure it was
I have the poster.
One horn up and one was down when she left through the portal. Unless her hair was blocking it.
I think her hair might have been blocking it. Wait. I literally put...
No.
My computer. No, it's in the chat, though.
Yeah, Julian's like, Brittany kept chatting too damn much. I got to scroll.
I didn't say it. You did.
I mean, it's true.
You are 100% right.
I typically am. Just kidding. I'm not always right. I pick up on small details a lot. The next point you bring up is actually something that I wanted to bring up in episode 1 because I saw it there. But
can we go back to that? Because I want to get Matt's initial thoughts on the reveal of it being female Loki.
No, I was totally fine with it. And now one thing that I'm hoping they do in the next episode is do the backstory episode for her.
Right. I would love that as
just
well.
Just like where she came from, like why she's doing what she's doing. Because obviously we're going to get into the whole, she refuses Loki's offer. Mm-hmm. And so it's okay. Why is she... Because, technically she is Loki, but why is she so different from him? Where she's like, no, I'm not taking it. And she says, like, it's not all about you. And then she's gone.
She's like, bold of you to assume you're the superior Loki. The whole time he's like, this inferior, whatever. And everybody's like, She's killing us, though. You can't even escape.
Speaking of escaping, I wanted to mention that before we get to the next point. Were you guys shocked to see him go through the portal and follow her? Because I kind of thought that he wasn't going to.
Nah. As soon as the portal stayed open after she walked away, I was like, he's going to go in it. So when they were running up and they're like, Loki, don't. I was like, well, now he's especially going to do it because you're telling him not to.
Sorry, I saw a bunny.
Dude, nature is happening at my house. We have babies and there's a bunny right there now.
I love bunnies.
I love bunnies too. Bunnies!
Bunnies, it must be bunnies!
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Or maybe.
So no shock? No shock at him going through?
No, I would have been more shocked if he actually did stay.
Yeah. Which would have, I think, been interesting. I like that he went through because that means we're going to get to see more of them together. But it also would have been a little bit of a plot twist, like, oh, maybe he's starting to like turn a new leaf like the Loki we see in the future with Thor and in Infinity War and Endgame.
But he's too intrigued by the better version of him that he's like, why the fuck are you like this?
Well, his whole little plan that he wants to take control of the TVA, which...
Can I share a theory about the TVA with you guys that Karen has that I think might be true? She thinks that the timekeepers don't exist. That I was going to call them Time Lords, but the 3 timekeepers are front. That the timekeepers are something else.
So who would run? So who created and run
that.
the TVA? I mean, yeah, they could. I'm not saying it's out of the realm, but then who would create and run the TVA then?
That is a very good question.
Who creates and runs anything in the Marvel universe?
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
And I do.
The
So
TVA does.
some people said that this event that happened in this episode is at least. I mean, I could be wrong. Who the hell knows? But I do agree with it. Is probably what creates the multiverse of madness. Stuff.
Oh, 100%.
So
yeah, I liked that. That she has all those charges with her, and when they're all set up here, and he's like, "Oh, you drew us here to blow us up." I was just like, "Oh no," because if she wanted to do that, she'd get more important people. Like I even thought that myself, and I was just like, "There's some other shit going on." So when they teleported, I was like, "Yes, yes." It's like you don't skip around in time and steal stuff from different places if you're not going to set them up in different places.
Well, and from Endgame, right, when Bruce is talking with the Ancient One, like what happens when you split and diverge the timeline. So seeing that happen on the TVA screen, you're like, what Matt said, I just went immediately. Yeah. Multiverse of madness. Here we go.
Because that's the only reason the TVA didn't, quote, get involved in the Endgame stuff is because they knew eventually they put things back in the exact same spot at the exact same time because the Ancient One told them to.
Yep.
So I was like, okay.
Well, it's like the meme that's come out of this episode where it's just like, how many timelines do we? There was quite a few, but some assholes called the TVA got rid of them all, so now there's only one.
Right. Sacred timeline.
I don't know if it means anything, and Brittany, I know you have thoughts on it. I'm sure it does. But the names of the floors in the TVA, aka the Atlanta Marriott, seem to possibly mean something. Because one specifically said SIF, SYF. There were others that had initials that maybe like started to spell Thor, but like other things from the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I think they're not going to ever tell us what those floors mean. But I did notice in episode 1, I wanted to bring it up when you were talking about the fact that they did like the matte painting thing. Because the first time you see SYF is when they get out of the elevator because you don't see the buttons at first. And like Morbius is walking across the balcony with him, and then he shows him this is the TVA, and he looks out and like everything's flying around and stuff. But it's on the wall. It says SYF. So I was like, oh, it's not spelled the same as SIF, but that could be like a cute. I thought it was like a cute little nod or like an Easter egg. But it is still now. It is like if you look in the elevator, it is a button, so that's the actual like label for that floor.
Quick, is it Mobius or Morbius? Because
I thought it was Mobius.
You're saying it's Morbius.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say Mobius.
Oh no, I wasn't sure. I'm like, am I mispronouncing it?
No,
not sure either.
No, it's Mobius.
Okay,
because it's like a Mobius strip.
Yeah.
Morbius is the vampire.
Bat guy.
Oh,
yeah, the bat. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my bad. That's just me, my brain.
No, I wasn't sure if I was mispronouncing it.
That's my bad. I'm fucking up.
I feel like Marvel doesn't do anything for no reason these days, and we might actually learn. I think it'd be really cool, but I mean, they're so blatant. Like
it's
I just
also
kept
hard
noticing
because
them.
they kind of already killed off Thor's friends. So like Lady Sif, if
they didn't show Lady Sif getting killed.
They didn't, but like,
and I think she's in Thor and Love and Thunder.
And she also has been in Loki comics before, as well as Loki being a female. So, but who knows?
But Marvel very much does enjoy their little winks to the audience. Like,
yes,
they love that shit.
I mean,
nonstop.
it could happen because Blind Spot ended, and that main actress was the main actress on Blind Spot. So,
I know.
I only know that because I love Ashley Johnson, and she wouldn't show up to Critical Role because she was filming that damn show.
Jesus. I know we already kind of talked about it, but that Loki-Mobius relationship, this episode specifically, was just so damn good. Like when they went to Pompeii too, and he's like, yeah, we're going to start little. We're going to do these little things. And Loki just does Loki. He's like, I am Loki, and I come with glorious tidings, and you're all going to fucking die. And then Mobius is just like, no readings.
Yep.
It was so cool.
He's like, why stop by pushing one thing over? I'm going to prove it to you right now that my theory works.
Owen Wilson's used to this relationship because they did the Starsky and Hutch remake with Ben Stiller years ago. So he's already used to the buddy cop thing.
Yeah.
Right. I like
their dynamic.
Yeah. WandaVision had really good acting and really good actors. This is already, I feel like, taking it a step further. Like, and I'm not taking anything away from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. If that makes any sense. Yeah. Less depressing and, quote, confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the visual effects have been awesome too. Dude, I was so excited when they went to Pompeii. I was like, oh, it's Pompeii.
Like, time to watch the explosion again.
Yeah. I've already seen it in Doctor Who.
All right. I forgot to mention what I loved about this episode. Sorry. Rock's cart. Okay? There's so many times in the MCU that they've referred to Roxxon. And obviously, like, it is one of those, like, big bad companies that shows up all over, like, in Marvel Comics and, like, has been around for decades, right? But more and more the MCU and other shows have pointed towards it. They haven't had anything except for Cloak and Dagger that really showed what happened, and the Miles Morales game.
Yes.
Which show, like, the full entity being like, this is Roxxon Corp, they're evil, this is what they do. Like, Roxxon, the oil rig exploded, and that's what gives Cloak and Dagger their powers in the TV show. So it was just nice to see, as soon as they said Rock's cart, I was like, oh my God, the Walmart version of Roxxon. Like, I was like so excited, and they show up, and then it was like ROXX, and it has the little symbol, and I'm like, thank you for showing me that Roxxon is like something happening, because it's in the future. They went to like, you know, a date that's future to us.
I think it's 2050.
No. Exactly, and I was like, Rox. It's like them pointing out Walmart.
Wait, you like rocks?
No, Roxxon. But anyway, I just love that because I've been waiting for Roxxon to really appear in the MCU because it hasn't happened.
No. Anything else?
I enjoyed who was the employee, the more gangly one that the female Loki was in possession of, and then when she transfers to the big like redneck dude, he's like, I think I missed Randall more or something like that.
Oh yeah, Randy was the one dude, the TV worker, and then she switched to that redneck dude, and he was like, but I liked that. Like you already knew that like the body hopping happened with like C20, the person that they took over first. But then like when it was Wunmi Masako's character, like the head TVA person, you were just like, something's up right here. Why do they want Loki to be with them? Shenanigans.
And I like that, and I like the little nod that like you kind of find out that Loki has standards, right? Because Loki was even like, I forget, like whatever projection that he called that what she's doing. He's like, that's low even for you. So the fact that Loki, who does some really fucked up shit, has like standards about what magic is okay.
And he was like, is he dead? And usually they don't die. And then just walks away, and you're just like, And then the fact that why? I would never treat myself this way. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. Speaking of how awesome this episode is, let's rate it out of 5 Atlanta Marriotts.
5 out of 5. I'm sold. The show already, like, it just makes me happy. It's fun. I mean, it's not going to break anyone's, like, head to watch, so I guess, like, across the board, it's more enjoyable. But I'll just say that, like, it keeps my attention the whole time. I'm interested. I want to see it. Even if, like, I see something coming, I'm still like, I hope it's happening. Show me it. I want to see it. And then it does. And I'm like, yes.
Also 5 out of 5. Worth a watch. Probably the show I'm most interested in seeing the next episode of right now.
Yep.
I'm still waiting to see a jet ski, though.
Dude, that's going to be the season finale, right? Like, he's just like, by the way, let's go.
I love the memes that are like out of context Loki, and it was like Walmart, like a jet ski, and then the Kermit meme where it was like the hood, like talking to himself. Like, it was so like I love seeing stuff like that because then I saw that before I saw the episode, so I was like, I love these things, but what the hell? And then I watched it, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. It was it was a salad, Walmart, jet ski, and then the hooded Kermit, and I was like, this is amazing.
Nice. 5 out of 5. I freaking love this show. I think I would assume that this show is everything that people who were maybe hesitant about a Loki series, but also excited about a Loki series. This is everything that they've wanted so far, these first 2 episodes. So 5 out of 5. Can't wait till Wednesday. I'm going to try and watch it on Wednesday this time because I'm just loving it. It's so damn good. Let's get to something that wasn't as good, unfortunately. And maybe I might be alone on this week. I don't know.
No, it was it.
It was aight. That's Star Wars The Bad Batch, Episode 8, Reunion. And Brittany, will start with you this time. Your initial thoughts.
It is rather unfortunate that it's living up to its name a little bit. Like, not saying that it's like I'm still a person who's like always gonna watch Star Wars stuff, no matter what they do, unless it's something focused on Kylo Ren, in which case I say fuck you.
Kylo Ren in the last
like
kiss.
I'm always gonna. Rey,
Wow, you had
Ryan,
to
the
do
Last Dragon. Anyway, I'm always gonna, whether it's reading it or watching it, whatever it is, like if it's Star Wars, I'm gonna watch it. That being said, I didn't necessarily have like hopes for the show, but it's just weird coming off of like such a huge, amazing season that was like the final season of Clone Wars. And like even if this is gonna be a show that fills the gap, I know we've talked about it a few times, like it's just kind of like why? Sometimes
what's the end game of all
like,
this?
What's the end game? Like it was leading up to that whole like Crosshair showdown and stuff, but we know there's gonna be 16 episodes total, I think you said, or something.
Yeah, 16.
So we're at the midpoint right now of 8. So that at least explained why some episodes were like major filler. But like I like the beginning with Wrecker. And,
yeah, that was cute.
Omega,
that was a cute
and he's
moment.
like teaching her about the explosives and how excited he gets about explosives. We know, but otherwise, we have that person that shows up, and I'm like, okay, and then like the all is lost thing, which I guess is fine for a mid-season, but I was also like, really? What? It was a longer episode, so I guess I can't complain about that. It wasn't?
It was 25 fucking minutes.
I thought it was 20. Well, it's been longer than other episodes. Maybe it wasn't longer than last week's.
Because I had to pause in the middle. I was like, wait, there's only 10 more minutes left.
Oh, God.
Come on,
But yeah, it was like, it didn't blow me away. It didn't really feel like a real showdown.
No, that was Crosshair. Got blown.
Oh, okay. Well, as soon as I said showdown, you're like, that was Crosshair. And I was like, yeah, it was a showdown. Like my brain. Yeah. I have yet to be like the first episode was so good to me.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it hasn't lived up to that since, unfortunately. I'll keep watching it, but.
It's funny. I actually kind of like this episode more than the last one. So to me, probably one of the greatest strengths of the show is when they have their showdowns with Crosshair, and because Crosshair is obviously them, but sticking with the Empire and stuff like that. Obviously Death Troopers and all that. That's something I've always been kind of interested in the Star Wars universe and all that. So you kind of have some of that showdown a little bit. Yeah, the reveal of Cad Bane, I think, is the bounty hunter.
I have so many thoughts.
When that happened, I was like, what?
Exactly. That was the weird part to me. I was like, why?
Yeah, it was like he came out, and obviously this episode confirmed the Camoonians are the ones who are trying to get Omega back. Haven't explained why yet, but yeah, Cad Bane, like that whole, because I only knew who that he was because I had seen commercials with him in it for the Clone Wars show back in the day. So that's the only reason I knew he was from Clone Wars. That was it. Otherwise, you could have pretty much put anybody there, and I would have had almost the same reaction. I would have been like, wait, what?
And see,
why did this person show up?
But see, that's where I differ a little bit, right? Because for one thing, I agree with Brittany. I really like the beginning because it's just strengthening Wrecker and Omega's relationship. Like they seem to be like that's what they're focusing on. It's not so much
they're best buds.
Yeah, they're best buds. They're just
which means
like
Wrecker
it used to be
die.
very Hunter Omega, like father daughter thing, but now it's shifted.
And I like that it's not Hunter because I don't particularly like Hunter. I think he's kind of lame.
You don't like Rambo knockoff?
I don't like Rambo knockoff. I like that. I did like most of the actual confrontation. It was a cool battle, like doing that on a Republic cruiser, but like all of that just got taken away from me. Like the soul left my body when they showed Cad Bane. And that's for a few reasons. One, I've never liked the character of Cad Bane. I think he's fucking lame.
He's the Cad Bane of your existence.
He is the Cad Bane of my existence.
He's literally a goddamn like Clint Eastwood Wild West character in Star Wars.
And the thing is, it worked in Clone Wars because Clone Wars is a little bit more campy and made for kids. So like I understand having like
of course
this Western idiot bounty hunter, but the fact that he shows up in a show that is much more serious, geared a little bit more towards adults who have been following the Clone Wars, and they're doing the Hunter showdown with him, and they start the out of place, just totally out of place. Yeah, Western music. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
All we were
right
missing
now.
in the background was like a giant clock going striking noon when they do the draw.
Tumbleweed.
I was ready for it.
Whatever fucking planet they're on.
I've already like gotten to one of our bullet points because I had to vent
fine.
about it.
Get
But I want to go on more about that, right? Because we've already seen Ming-Na's character, her bounty hunter. It would have made 1,000 times more sense if it was her coming back, like if they were continuing the arc, right?
But do you know why? Because they're gonna kill Cad Bane during
Well, they
during
better
the
fucking kill
season
him because he's a
you
lame
can't-
fucking character.
Yeah, but you can't kill Fennec Shand for
Well, no, you
obvious
can't kill
reasons.
Fennec.
But so you need a bounty hunter that you can off.
It's
So
just
But
like,
see, yeah, go ahead.
why him?
Yeah, why him?
I get that they keep wanting to tie in as many Clone Wars characters as possible, but just pick some random other bounty hunter, or like just not do a bounty hunter.
So the reason I think they
Tragic.
did this is because they want to tie off the character, because when you have something like Empire, like you have the galaxy's best bounty hunters,
And he's not there.
and he's not there. Why is Cad Bane not there?
Well, speaking of the galaxy's best bounty hunters, and this is another problem I have, this is during the time that Boba is still like a teen.
What about IG-88? Damn it!
Well, I was about to say, why not just make it like a shitty IG unit? Like anything. But why not make it Boba, who's trying to make his name at this point and live up to his father and become this bounty hunter that does, like you said, show up in Empire. And yet you could still have him be defeated. You can't kill him, but you can still have him be defeated because he's young and up and coming, and he's got to, earn his licks and earn his chops, right? It could have been anyone, but you got this blue-eyed or red-eyed fucking idiot.
Well, it would have been. Well, the thing.
I hate Cad Bane.
The reason that I think it's not Boba is because you're gonna have that shootout and everything like that, and you're gonna have this relatively untrained Boba beat this highly, badass clone trooper.
But Boba's a clone.
He's not altered in any way.
okay,
he is an
that's right.
unaltered clone. He is
You're
just
right,
a kid.
You're right.
He's just a regular
You're
dude.
right.
Matt's like, Boba's a chump,
Trained by his father, though.
Up until his head got cut off.
which wasn't very. He was like 8, not very long.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually would love to see a show about a young Boba kind of trying to find his way in the galaxy. That would actually be really good shit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brittany.
I do like this is going a little off topic, that they confirmed that the book of Boba Fett is going to be basically a season 2.5 of The Mandalorian. Like it's not season 3. It's its own thing, but it's like I don't think it's going to be very long. I think it might be probably a 4-episode story or something.
I think it'll be a little longer.
Well, even if it is, I'm fine with that. I like keeping the mystery of Boba Fett. We said this earlier in the episode. We knew this showdown was coming. It's the mid-season showdown, right? And now Crosshair's even more evil because he has a burn on his face.
Because that's what the Star Wars universe has to do to establish.
Because how
burn
else are you
people.
supposed to know someone's a bad guy unless they become disfigured or scarred in some way?
I actually, and going back to the very beginning of the episode when Wrecker was like, "Oh, my first detonation," I thought he was gonna be like, "That's how I got this," and on the side of his head. I'm like, "Is that gonna explain how he got it?" Nope, not it.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, so was that training, or did something really blow up in your face? It was just kind of lame how Cad Bane just shot them all, and just boom, stunned. And Mike is like, Hunter! And then I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do? And then she just get all stunned.
He
She's like,
shot him with an actual blaster shot. It wasn't a stun shot, right?
He shot Hunter with an actual blaster shot,
and he
and
stunned
Omega
Omega.
with a
yeah,
stun.
with the stun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
but it's just like lame. I'm like, you guys are the best of the deviant bad batch.
Yes.
And you just got taken out like a chump by Cad Bane.
That's what you. You see,
I know.
that's what you get for not drawing first and just shooting instead of all right, we'll draw at the same time.
That's stupid.
That's why Han Solo had it right.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Han shot first. It's the only thing that makes sense for his character.
for real. Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask you the question: Where are you guys with the show right now? Because I'm starting to be over it at this point.
I watch it every week. I know it's not like I don't know. I feel like episode 1, I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. I wonder what's going to happen. Then I was excited for the next week. And then since then, it's just kind of been like, this is going to be the week where it gets good. This is going to be the week where it gets good. And it's just kind of like, it's a show. It's a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm telling everybody to watch it, Like Loki, if somebody asked oh, I haven't watched Loki yet, how is it? I'd be like, watch it. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If they asked about Bad Batch, I'd be like, maybe wait until the season's done.
Binge
And
it.
You can
binge
skip
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can skip it.
And
for
then I
now.
let them know if I finish the season, I'm just like, honestly, you don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
I do feel like this will be the only season of Bad Batch. I don't think it's been as well received as other Star Wars.
I haven't heard any
properties.
buzz or people talking about
Yeah,
it.
literally, I think we're the only people that are reviewing it.
Yeah. Oh,
Go us! Yay!
I mean,
and we can't stop because we've started.
everything
and
is
you can
Bad
tell we're
Batch.
not paid shills.
No, that's a fact.
We are not going to get invited to Disney events, folks. That's not going to
No,
happen.
I think we would.
Nope, they check
We're
that
very
stuff.
fair.
No, we're fair. We're totally fair.
Disney doesn't care if you're fair. They want you to be like, Bad Batch is the greatest Star Wars thing ever. Sorry, I hit the table.
Matt got
Vibranium.
excited. Boom.
You want me to put the hammer down?
I'll put the hammer down.
Oh god.
Oh god. We hate this show so much that it's going into Marvel.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the show, but like what you guys said, I'm not going to be like, "Oh my god, have you watched Bad Batch? It's so good. You need to watch." I'm just if somebody's like, "Should I watch it?" I'd be like,
I'll be like, if you have kids, sure, watch it with them.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
my
it's
thing so far.
And that like because at this point, all right, we're now at the halfway point officially. So now you got to explain what's going on with Omega. Crosshair is going to have burn face, so we have to make sure he's extra evil now.
If I go one more episode of this goddamn show without finding out why Omega is so important, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, hopefully, since now Cad Bane has her, he brings her back to Camino, and they do the whole, like, this is why we need you, Omega.
Plot twist, Omega turns bad. That would make this show interesting. Maybe.
Stop with the Palpatine shit.
I thought for a horrifying moment, by the way, that when Cad Bane shot Hunter, that she was going to use some kind of force ability. And she was like, "No, Hunter!" I'm like, "Please, God,
like her
no!"
fucking X powers, like her X-Men.
Like she was gonna like push.
Activated.
She was gonna force push. If she had force pushed him away, I would have been like, "I'm done with this fucking show."
I don't know. I would have found that more interesting than what happened.
No,
That's
because that would be another trope of like secret Jedi being protected by people. Like, no, don't
Like
do
the
that.
show already. I mean,
It
listen,
already is.
it's so tropey already.
Oh no, it's checking off the boxes as it goes down the list.
I
It's
feel
just
like so
uh-huh.
far Omega's just been used of like keeping the moral compass of the group. You know, like they're like, we have a kid with us, so we shouldn't do this. We're still gonna do some stuff for money. But
You know, one thing I will give credit to the show is you were mentioning it last week how they haven't been able to like draw that line of, you know, we are really going to go against the Empire. They straight up killed their brothers this episode. Like they shot them, and it wasn't with stun shots. It
was pew pew dead bullets.
Pew pew dead bullets. So they've crossed that line where they're like they know that the clones are the bad guys.
Now, but were they killing other clones or were they conscripts? Because remember they're doing that whole thing.
No, they had the clone voice. They had the clone voice.
Okay, I didn't even
they were
notice that.
clones.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What if they just have voice changers? What if they're conscripts, but they're like,
God damn it!
I
I need to sound like a clone.
I'm still from New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's Omega's purpose. We need a British accent in here, guys.
Indeed. Should we rate this episode?
I guess.
Out of 5 Republic cruiser skeleton graveyard planet
Out of
things.
ion engines.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 ion engines.
3 out of 5. I'm still not wowed by any episode of the show outside the first one, but like, at least it wasn't moving us backwards. I guess it just kind of happened. So 3 out of 5.
I'll go 3.5. I'll be a little more generous with it. As I said, I do enjoy their kind of interactions with Crosshair and like that they did the whole like, you know, the inhibitor chip is controlling you thing to him. So now
Like that was gonna work though.
that
line drove me crazy.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's doing. I think at the end of the day, they still.
Sowing the seeds of doubt in his mind.
No, I don't think they're doing that.
He's like, am I really evil or is it just a chip?
Well, now that his
Or
face
is
is
it both?
burned, now he's super
now
evil.
he's super evil. Though Anakin was able to come back from that shit.
Yeah, I know.
He had lots of burns.
He had lots of burns. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. That's
Ooh.
3 points lost because of Cad shithead Bane. Take off your fucking cowboy hat.
No, because his head would look so weird with those little vents and shit.
I would. Yeah, that would be cool.
His little tube.
I hate.
I
Cad.
caught him, little lady.
I hate Cad Bane. He's the most unrealistic Star Wars character ever created.
And that is saying something in this
On
universe,
a show
guys.
that's basically a sci-fi western, I hate the westernist character the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Mandalorian episode where it went super western was better.
Yes, it was.
Timothy Oliphant.
We'll be back next week with another episode.
We'll be
of
back.
Bad Batch. On to E3 now. You're probably wondering why we didn't do an E3 special like we said we were going to do. Well, there just wasn't a lot to talk about with E3. There were some cool moments, but it wasn't as jam-packed as some E3s have been, which you can't. I don't think it was worth devoting a whole episode of the
I mean,
show
you
for.
could.
I
I
guess
guess we
you
could
could.
have, but
But
We can just stick to the highlights.
The
Did I
highlights.
watch the majority of it?
Yeah, you
yes.
did.
I only missed a few panels.
That's
some days
impressive.
because of work. Well, I mean, I was
Yeah.
Couldn't do much at home. I was
Fair
just
enough.
laying there.
I'll give you that. Fair enough.
But I could be wrong because I know Brittany's super excited about Nintendo stuff. But I want to say that you're probably, Matt, the most excited person at this table because Microsoft and Bethesda, I think, were the stars of the show. Big announcement with Starfield being an Xbox exclusive, something that the lead on the game apologized to PlayStation users about, which I thought was kind of funny.
Honestly, Todd Howard probably should be fired because he's kind of a piece of shit. But who's lied about games and stuff in the past. But and also, I say this as kind of, but not fully an Xbox fanboy. Todd Howard, shut the fuck up because I never saw Sony be like, we're so sorry, Xbox and PlayStation, that Spider-Man is not going.
Yeah,
to be
they
on
never
your system.
apologize for that shit.
They never do that shit. So shut up, Todd Howard. Just shut up, take your check, and I hope they dump your ass. Before long.
Strong words.
Woo!
That being said, Starfield, it looks amazing.
It was just, I mean, it's a trailer that didn't show me gameplay.
Do you know why? Because they had a leak and everyone found out it existed, so they had to throw something up there. It's true. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I've a lot of shit gets leaked before E3, and it's one of those things where sometimes people are like, why do we even have E3? Because shit always gets leaked.
Battlefield was leaked
E3 is
before E3.
fun.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's a fun little event.
I hit my elbow when I did that whole thing.
No, I just watched, nobody could see it, but I just watched Brittany do this weird little elbow rub out of nowhere. But yeah, this E3 was basically Microsoft showing off their new acquisition, Bethesda, which is kind of funny because they bought more than just Bethesda.
Right.
So technically, they bought like almost half a dozen game studios when they bought Bethesda.
Right.
So, but Bethesda is the big one that everybody knows, and Starfield was the IP that had been talked about, and I know it's been described as Skyrim in space, which.
And also like a Han Solo simulator, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in. Like, you already got me, guys.
Yeah.
Like, stop drilling for oil. You've already hit it.
Listen, I know, like you said, they kind of just had to throw something together because the game was leaked. That being said, between this and I'll talk to you about this as well, Halo Infinite, like, I don't know if I'll fully get an Xbox Series X, but it's seriously making me consider getting a Series S to be able to play Xbox games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked what I saw from Halo Infinite's multiplayer trailer. And how do you feel about that going free to play for the first time? Because that's pretty exciting news.
That's all well and good. I mean, I'm still gonna buy Halo Infinite because it's gonna be a console mover. If any game is gonna make people buy an Xbox Series X or Series S, it's gonna be Halo Infinite. The thing is that the multiplayer trailer probably did more to generate buzz for the game than anything else they've done for Halo Infinite, because people I know that were kind of like, I'm kind of like about Halo, are like, I can't fucking wait for Halo Infinite now because of the multiplayer trailer.
Yeah, I was really stoked to see it. It looks like some really fun game modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of things. It's a thing that a lot of people don't kind of realize, is that a lot of the younger gamer grew up playing Halo.
Yep.
Like Halo was a big deal in a lot of people's lives. So having a game mode that kind of harkens back to that your childhood of like playing like Xbox, like
Halo for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah, just playing Halo, like linking up Xboxes, because I
Who's
did that.
the juggernaut? Like I used to just do that all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and this makes me wonder, being free to play, if they're going to introduce ways to like do, because I assume this is still also coming out for PC. If people are going to be able to do like the crazy mods people used to do for like Halo and Halo 2 as well.
Lost the lead, gained the lead, gained the lead, lost the lead.
Yeah,
Every time you'd kill somebody,
then they brought back like the original voice actor who did that stuff too, as like another little harken back to the old days.
Yeah,
It's pretty
for
sweet.
sure. Listen, again, not having an Xbox, that multiplayer trailer was really good. It was really
I mean, it's so. And also, I will say, I know that you and I have talked, like, I consider getting a PS5 for the new Horizon
Yeah.
game. Like, there seems to be like 1 or 2 games for respective systems where people are like, all right, I'm kind of thinking about going that way now and grabbing that sucker.
Yeah.
Assuming you can buy them, which we still
Who
can't.
knows? Who knows if that's ever going to happen?
I was gonna say if I can afford it, like I'll get all the systems I can.
Yeah.
It's just right now the amount of time I can play, I'm like,
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Speaking of all the systems that you can afford, I'm coming to you with Nintendo here, because this is a game that you said you would buy a Switch for potentially.
Yeah.
And that is Nintendo's announcement of a 2D Metroid Dread.
So, Metroid Dread is a game they talked about coming out 20 years ago that never did. So, here we are, finally. And it's supposed to end the whole, like, Metroid, not all the Metroid games forever, because obviously they'll do more, because let's be honest, it's an IP, it's a franchise. Let's go.
Moneymaker.
But it at least is supposed to, like, finish that arc of the storyline that explains, like, Samus's, like, link to the Metroids themselves. So it's supposed to be, like, this whole thing of, like, why do we have this sort of kind of symbiotic relationship, and then, you know, weird shit happens. Do I have a Metroid in my room? Yes. Do I love Samus? Absolutely. Will I get a Switch to play this game? If I can do it, yes.
Well, and what's great about the Switch now is that you don't necessarily need to get a full Nintendo Switch. You could just get a Switch Lite. I mean, Cecily has a Switch Lite, and it works just as well as a Switch. You just can't dock it. And it's $100 cheaper as well.
Then maybe I do that.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. And they come in really cool colors like the new navy blue, which I really kind of want.
But I also would want to stream it.
Yeah. Streaming on Switch is not easy.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't like you to stream.
Like
streaming, they don't.
Streaming on my PS5 is like so easy.
Yeah.
And like the way it's set up, it's so like I'm having a harder problem trying to stream with OBS on my PC. Like anytime I play Among Us, it just like the screen's not in the right place, and I'm like, fuck it. Eventually, I'll get there as a streamer where I can play everything. But yeah, I will see that this is like one of the Nintendo announcements that for sure I was like, I love this. I would totally play this game and get a Switch. Like if it's in the ballpark of I can afford it.
How do you feel about it being 2D?
Don't mind it, because all of the Metroid games, or at least for the most part, are like that sort of platformer side-scrolling thing. It's not like completely 2D.
No,
it's like 3D but stuck in the 2D side-to-side sort of stuff. So I'll take it. But I will say my favorite Metroid game is still the one that came out for like the GameCube forever ago that I haven't played.
God, the GameCube was so ahead of its time.
I love that console. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo always has great games. It's just nice to see a Metroid thing come out again, and you're like, yes, thank you.
You know a game I'm getting in 4 days that I think is like one of the best announcements Nintendo did? Mario Golf.
I was going to jokingly say the Mr. Game & Watch Zelda.
I'm getting it. No, that thing.
Hold on. I know someone who's already getting it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like every hardcore Zelda fan will pick that thing up. I think it's fucking lame.
With all the broken weapons and
You mean you're not getting Mario and Rabbids Sparks
They
of Hope?
announced like I don't even know how to describe it, like a literal square, like back in the day with a tiny screen, 2D Game Boy style with like buttons, and it's like an alarm clock too. It to celebrate, I think what Zelda's 80
billionth anniversary.
Whatever. It's lame. I think it's really lame, but more power to you if that's your kind of thing. Speaking of Zelda, we got a very, 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 very brief glimpse from Breath of the Wild 2, and I adored the first game. I think, did you play it a little bit when it had a Switch?
I didn't care for it.
I loved it, but the footage that I saw from Nintendo and Breath of the Wild just makes me super nervous that the game is going to be more of a Breath of the Wild expansion than a full sequel. And I know there are reasons why they weren't able to show a lot, COVID being one of them, but like it just looks like Breath of the Wild. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I didn't see anything that excited me.
Not Link skydiving?
The skydiving was kind of cool, but I just saw Aloy skydive.
Not the linked him shooting the boulders back up and hitting multiple enemies?
I don't know if you're being sarcastic right now.
I don't know either. I'm just trying to remember what I saw in the trailer. Yeah. Visually, it looks gorgeous, but it does look like part 2 of Breath of the Wild.
Right.
So
nothing. Like that's the thing with like.
There's no plot yet.
Every new Zelda game that's always come out, I feel like it's always had something like looked very unique about it. Whereas this, I'm just like, oh, you just took some screens of.
Well, it's kind of funny that they're doing sequels to Zelda because they used to never do that. They would always just like, here's the Zelda game, here's its art style and story and everything. And
like Twilight Princess was so fucking good.
Yeah, and now we're gonna do another Zelda game that's gonna be totally different and have different mechanics and do different things and blah 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 blah.
And you bring up a great point about that too, because I don't actually think that Breath of the Wild needs a sequel. Like I played that game to its fullest extent. I beat everything that I wanted to beat, and I was satisfied. I was like, I'm good.
Did the Master Sword break on Ganon's face or something? And that was the end?
I was smart, and I only used my Master Sword enough where I would like switch weapons and never break it. because
I still can't believe that.
Oh, it's horrible.
In the
It's
game.
horrible.
It is a terrible fucking mechanic.
It's a horrible choice, and I'm sure it'll go away for Breath of the Wild too.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I say
that is a bold assumption.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Pew, pew, pew.
Let's talk about another highlight from E3, and that was Elden Ring, which I guess, I mean, I don't.
So I want to, if you are a video game maker, a movie or TV show person, I'm going to give you some advice. George R.R. Martin's name does not carry the weight it once did. The man has not put out a book in how many years since his last one?
Probably like 10. I don't even know.
It's been a
at least
long
5.
Yeah, I think it's longer than that.
Yeah, it was whenever I was in college. People were still like
Oh
reading
my
those books.
God. Well, no, I'm talking about not people reading, but just when he put one out. Like George R.R. Martin has been riding on the coattails of Game of Thrones and everything for years, obviously, which he wrote the books. And even though he, by his own admission, he's written like something like 25,000 words, he still hasn't put shit out. So as an author, he sucks. And honestly, I'm waiting for him to die because they're going to just put out whatever the fuck he wrote and just call it a day.
Not if his estate has anything
You
to
want
do
to
with
know
it.
something hilarious? Stephen King is good friends with him because they used to go to sci-fi conventions like growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
And he constantly, every time they're together, like doing a conference or they talk about like writing books and stuff, he makes fun of George R. R. Martin so much because Stephen King's notorious. He's prolific. He
can like write a book in a weekend.
Yeah, he writes books like nothing. And he always points out the fact that he's like, yeah, when are you going to finish that franchise, that series? I've written 5 books and you're still working on that one. Like, just to poke fun at him because he is friends with him. But it's to the point where I think even Stephen King's like, bro, finish. Jesus Christ, please finish it.
Yeah.
Just
So we could stop talking about it.
Or
Yeah.
just write an ending that obviously is better than what happened in TV. And
That's
people
not
love
hard.
it.
That's not hard to do.
Dude, you have a very low bar
But
at this point.
So as for the game, I'm just kind of like, there's other games I was way more excited for that, like I wrote a couple of them down. Like I know I mentioned Replaced and obviously Battlefield. I'm very much looking forward to. Hopefully it'll have crossplay because we can squad up.
I fucking hope so, dude. I really do.
Squad, squad.
But PlayStation actually just came out saying that they want to support crossplay more. So I'm
Good.
hoping that's a good sign. So
I want to play with people no matter what system they're on. Damn it.
yeah, for real. Well, before we get into what I think was the biggest thing out of E3, did you want to touch on Elden Ring?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say there's been tons of customers that have come into Waves that have been like excited for it. But it's one of those things where like they announced it forever ago and we're like just starting to see more for it. So if you like Dark Souls and games like that, it's an open world version of it with influence from George R. R. Martin. So if you're a fan of any of those things, open world RPGs like George R. R. Martin or Dark Souls, that's the premise. That's the people to get. So like I won't play it because I don't like Dark Souls.
I probably won't either.
I'm not a
but-
huge Dark Souls guy either.
Yeah. So some people like it's their thing. They're like excited for it. They're like, give me all the Souls games possible. So this would be up their alley.
I want the game to like stop halfway and then just be like, we're waiting on George to finish the rest of the plot for it.
DLC coming in.
DLC coming.
That would be amazing.
Coming 2029? Question mark.
Incredible.
Let's before we get to the kind of the main game I want to talk about. You said you had a couple written down. Did you have anything else written down that you
I have
wanted
a
to
ton
mention?
of things written down. They were kind of like I watched all of the like just the Xbox stuff. Then like I watched each of the things. So there were certain games that stuck out to me for those.
Tiny Tina Wonderland.
I'll let you talk about the next segment because then after that we'll just mention some other things.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No.
Back to Tiny Tina Wonderland
Well,
then afterwards.
that was before E3. It was announced.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't see a trailer for it at E3. That's the downside. So many games and stuff dropped their trailers and like news. We had all that news right before E3, which
Okay.
I think if those companies would just waited, like for Horizon Zero, like not Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, if they would have just waited and then did that at E3, it would have been like, wow.
Well, Sony didn't want to
I
take
know,
part in
Sony
E3,
didn't
which
wanna-
I.
But that's happening. But that's happening so like more and more. Is like these companies keep backing out of E3 because I think kind of what we talked about at the beginning, like leaks just keep happening, and it gets to the point of what is the point of doing
Or they just don't.
E3?
Like, I think they knew that they would already have not too much going on for E3, so they didn't want to have 1 or 2 big games, and then people be like, that's it, seriously? Like, I wanted 20 announcements, blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
I also think that because the funny thing is that Sony does has their little, I don't know what
Their
event to call it.
State of play.
State of play like later in the year, which is funny because I think they do their announcements then because they kind of are the primary focus rather than
Well, and
E3 where it's
SEC, right? Is there other big one? I think it's not just state of play.
I don't know.
They have like another big conference.
I just remember a state of play.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if E3 is gonna keep being this big thing
Probably not
for much longer, because these companies have been doing their own things, and those have been getting tons of views, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think that the biggest takeaway from E3 is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm stoked for this game, and I know I shouldn't be.
You really shouldn't.
Because of Avengers, and it has to pass that test. But this, just from what I saw, looks like a hell of a good time.
And that was a Square Enix announcement.
Yep.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that, but it was also like, what? And then you're either like, wow, or like, what? That whole like thing. So, like out of that, I mean, I did write down Guardians of the Galaxy because it looks cool. I like the fact that they are doing the thing with Avengers where they're avoiding casting the characters, making them look exactly like the MCU versions, because then you have people's expectations too high where they're like, I want the person to be voiced like, why isn't it Chris Pratt? Why are they acting different? So it's like, no, if you base it off the comic version, you can do a lot more. You have more leeway. You don't have to stick to MCU canon, and you don't have to pay the big movie star voice, people for their voice acting, which
takes away from actually like developing the game, right?
Yeah,
too.
And also it's like a hit or a miss, because voice acting's like a style you have to learn for acting. Some actors can do both, some really can't. Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, I think this game is already, in some ways, and I read a couple of articles about this, passing that Avengers test, because the reason Avengers failed was it was a live service game, right? It was not. It was not story focused. It was multiplayer, microtransaction focused, and no one bought it. Yeah. Everyone's past that because they already were burned by, I mean, listen, you don't hear about it anymore, but Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 is what, and FIFA, I think, as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, set this off, that microtransactions are a bad thing. Yeah. So when they announced this and didn't go away from microtransactions, people were like, I'm not buying this game. I didn't buy it. And I fucking love the Avengers.
I know.
Like, there was zero desire to buy this. This, no multi, no microtransactions, story driven. It looks like one of those games where you're going to the loyalty of your other team members is going to be affected by which
it's almost like Telltale, but without Telltale being around anymore.
Groot will remember that.
And it looks like a little bit of like arcade type combat. It just looks fun. I mean, I'm excited for it.
I'm interested in it, but I want to see more of it. Like Square to me is kind of low because I didn't like Kingdom Hearts 3. I didn't
like Kingdom Hearts 3
people
either.
didn't like
I didn't buy the Avengers, and I've heard nothing but terrible things about it and about how it plays and all that stuff. And videos I've seen of it, it looks like complete fucking trash.
People I know that have played it, like, it's still hard because they have to wait for DLC for specific characters, specific stories. So, like, War for Wakanda they also showed, which interests me to the point where I was like, maybe I'd get Avengers just to try that out. But at the same time, I know I'm not going to play the rest of the stuff.
Well, they sell battle passes for specific characters, which is fucking insane.
I mean, that's
to me.
criminal to me.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Like, you should just do an Avengers 2, like, stuff like that. Yeah. And build it up and have different characters over time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, once again, I'll keep an eye on it because single player, blah blah blah. All right, you kind of piqued my interest a little bit, but I want to see more about it and kind of read more about it.
Go ahead.
Did they use Holding Out for a Hero in that
trailer? They did,
yeah.
Okay, I just want to say between Loki, that, and fucking like 12 other things this month that have used that song.
What is
Bonnie
up with
Tyler
that?
is making some mad fucking bang. I just want to say that
He-Man
used it. It's like any
that's right.
80s,
He-Man did use it.
Any 80s related thing that has happened recently has used this. So like in Loki, they went to 1984 or 1985 or something like that to the Ren Fair, and for some reason that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like as soon as it happened, I was like, can we stop overusing this song? I'm gonna hate it like Hallelujah soon. Like it's a bop. I love.
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
I was like, I love how it's used in Shrek, but Jesus Christ. That's all I have to say about that. But I am interested in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll probably get it.
Out of anything that got me besides Battlefield 2042 that got me even remotely excited, it was like Battlefield 2042, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Mario Golf. Like that was.
I had much more. I was like, Among Us update, yes, please.
Well, let's talk about it. Because you guys have some ones that I probably missed.
So a game that I think kind of slid under the radar, and I think because as Brittany said, like stuff kind of got released around E3 before and all that. But there was a game I saw a trailer for, and I am so fucking hyped for it because it's been so long. It's a snowboarding game called Shredders.
Yeah,
yes, you talked about this. Yes, you mentioned it before.
It is an Xbox exclusive, and for those who don't know, the Amped snowboarding game series is one of my favorite series of all time. 1, 2, and 3 are absolute classics. Their soundtracks and everything. This looks like a more realistic snowboarding game, but the fact if they even slightly captured the fun of Amped, like, because I didn't like
SSX Tricky.
No, I actually like that. No,
I like those.
There's a newer game. There was a newer like snowboarding, hang gliding, all this called Stoked, I think it was, which I played a little bit. I didn't get into it, but a soul snowboarding experience and everything. You make interesting mountains and all that with all these little fun tricks and everything you can do down. I'm like, good. If you do good soundtrack on top of that, because that's what you need. I wanted to write an article way back when for the site about Amped soundtrack. Because
those games always have great soundtracks.
Yeah, but part of me is wondering, like, how are they going to do that these days? Because like punk rock isn't really the thing anymore. So how would they?
I mean, listen, I got back into Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 when they did the re-release for those, and I was like getting right back into the soundtracks. Like, yeah, punk is alive. Punk is alive and well.
But Shredders is a game that I'm very much looking forward to.
See you on the powder, bruh. Are you stoked? That's another game. Oh, yeah. So as far as Square Enix is concerned, I liked that they showed more of Life is Strange True Colors because I'm a fan of the Life is Strange series. And also Nintendo showed that Life is Strange would, the other games are going to go to the Switch soon. So I feel like a lot of the Nintendo announcements are also like, we're eventually doing this on these platforms.
I was shocked to see, real quick. I was shocked to see that Guardians of the Galaxy is also going to be on Switch.
Yeah, but I feel like they're just doing that more, like PlayStation's giving more leeway with some of their like things where it won't be just on PlayStation. Like they're trying to let the stuff be playable and other things.
One thing I was disappointed with the Life is Strange is they're doing the remastered collection release and all that. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't look that improved over the original. Because I've seen the side by side videos and shots and everything.
It's also like the style itself. It's not like cell shading, but it's like different. Where it's like it'll only ever look so good with technology because it's not like they're realistic. Like they're cartoony realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's like you're seeing beads of sweat on somebody like in blood and stuff like Last of Us or whatever. But I saw the remaster and I'm like, oh, am I gonna replay those games? But also like I feel like I played them so recently that I'm like, will I get a remaster? But I am excited for the new game because I like those games in general.
So another game, which once again, I don't know if it was announced at E3 or not, but I already have it pre-ordered because anybody I know who has played it has said it is one of the greatest games ever made is Hades. It is getting a console release.
I wanted to play that.
Yeah, so it's been a PC exclusive game only, and I think it's getting both Xbox and PlayStation. And I already have it pre-ordered. I pre-ordered a physical copy. It comes out this early fall, I believe. I have to check to be sure, but I don't even like those types of games. It's like the isometric, like RPG action type
I
game.
don't like those.
No, I generally don't care for them either. But once again, anybody I know who has like even come in contact with this game has like sung its praises. Said
it was
is
up
one
for
of the
Game of the Year.
Yeah, it won like a shit ton of awards across the board. Like, and as I said, almost anybody I know who's played it has said like it is like a fantastic game. So with that much recommendation behind like almost every single person I know who's played it, I had to get it.
Do it, right?
Yeah, I got to make the plunge.
It was one of the most critically acclaimed games that came out last year.
Yeah.
I'll say the funniest trailer I saw, or the trailer I liked the most, was Outer Worlds 2, just because it pointed out video game trailers, and they're like, and you won't see the character's face because we haven't made it yet. The game's not ready. Like, it was just amazing.
Look at this creature. Will it be in the game? No. Say goodbye forever.
Exactly. They were like breaking the fourth wall every 2 seconds. It was like heavy Alan Tudyk vibes, you know? Like, it was just amazing.
Some people were so surprised that they're making a second Outer Worlds already, but I'm not. Like the first game, if you've never played Outer Worlds, is fantastic. It's like Fallout New Vegas, which is the same people who made it. And it's not a complicated game, if that makes any sense. Like the graphics never blew me away on. I was never like, oh my god,
they're supposed.
No, it doesn't have to be. It's the gameplay and the writing and the voice acting is why you're in this universe. It's because you're doing all this dumb shit with your character and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you play it for fun, not because it's gonna look groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's like it's just goofy.
Well, I'm gonna give him a shout out on our show. We know that Eric's getting ready from Geeks with Kids for all the games that are coming out because it looks like he is building
his PC.
A PC.
Oh.
Picked out the case. Well done, sir.
I will. So here's one thing I will say. and kind of, I will talk to the Sony fanboys real quick because I have seen. No,
I'm listening.
The ones who are complete dicks about this. So I have seen so many posts on Xbox stuff and everything from Sony fanboys saying, I'm still not getting an Xbox. I'll just buy it on PC. You're an idiot, and you're still giving them your money, you fucking moron.
Yeah. I feel like they just want to get attention or something because you're like, why do you? We don't care if you're getting it or not.
It's like
console wars haven't been.
They don't exist anymore. It's bullshit.
It's stupid.
I can't get over how dumb people are with this stuff.
I agree.
I can't. I really can't.
Or when they're like, oh, well, it's got to be exclusive. I was like, I don't know. I don't fucking work for Sony. Like, I don't determine this. Like, I'm sorry, it is.
I mean,
Ratchet and Clank for the PS5. I felt so bad. People were watching me stream and they're like, I still haven't been able to get a PS5 yet. I'm like, I am so sorry. I hope you can soon. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. I was like, hope you enjoy the stream, though. At least you got to see it played.
Game is so good.
It is really good.
So good.
It's already my game of the PS5. Just saying a lot.
That's, yeah.
I only count that because I still count The Last of Us Part 2 as a PS4 game.
That's fair.
Another game I will talk about very briefly is Stalker 2. Stalker 2. Yeah, they did the whole thing. Like, and it's just basically people sitting around a campfire for the most part. I never played Stalker 1. I know a lot of people said it was really good.
Very Russian.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
Well, it reminds me of the Metro series, if you ever played that. It's
I know about it,
post-apocalyptic in Russia and stuff like that. I don't know which game came first, but Stalker 2, from what I've seen of it, I'm very interested in it. And that's another exclusive. So, yeah, I'll probably pick that up.
Good stuff.
I'll only bring up one more. And that was an indie game called Somerville, which I talked to about a little bit before. I don't know if I mentioned it on last show.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I did.
Because it looks like Inside or...
Yeah, and this is another reason why I would actually get, like, the Xbox. Because, like, honestly, I'd own every system all the time if I could, because I want to be able to play everything, and I have nothing against any of these companies. But this is one that's like a really cool indie game. It looks amazing, like it's right up my alley, but it's on the Xbox. So I'm like, God damn. I got so excited during a lot of those Microsoft announcements. I was like, this is amazing. I'd play it. And I was like, fuck, God damn it, I have a PS5.
Well, and there's something to be said. There's something to be said right now. If you don't own an Xbox, Matt, I don't know if you want to talk about this briefly. Xbox Game Pass.
So yeah, I actually did want to talk about that. So there was an article. There's I believe I forget the author's name, but you could look him up. He writes for Forbes, and he writes a lot of video game stuff. And he basically did a breakdown from E3, and he goes, I'm not a fanboy of either console or company or whatever. He goes, but just looking at this objectively in terms of numbers, he goes, the Xbox Game Pass is technically a better deal than buying the PS5 games as they come out, because he said the next gen games are going up to $70. He goes, as bad as that is and all that, as much as we hate it, he goes, it's going to happen.
It already has.
Yeah, it's already starting to happen.
Ratchet and Clank was $70. Well, I will say,
I was surprised that Ratchet and Clank I didn't have to pay $74 because I didn't pick the exclusive, like the
was it
special one? It was $60 just for the first one, like the regular one, and then it was $70 for like if you wanted the add-ons. And stuff.
They snagged you, Julian. They got you.
The digital version, I mean, at least. I don't know if you got it physically.
No.
I might be wrong, but I thought it was something like that. So 60 and then 70.
So, but long story short, breaking down, as I said, you can find this guy's article, but he basically said that if like a year of Xbox Game Pass versus buying the games, it's immensely cheaper. And he goes, and then multiply it by each consecutive year, he goes, it gets more and more expensive to buy the games for Sony than to just have a Game Pass. And he said, like, the attractive thing about it is almost all of these.
My phone knows you're talking about this right now because I just pulled up a Game Pass.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably going to have like 5 ads for it on my phone, even because I still don't have Game Pass. And even like more and more, I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just goddamn make the plunge and just get it, just so I have access to all this shit that I don't have to buy. The plunge. But it's, I mean, I will. One thing that I can legitimately say Microsoft has done a fantastic job with is getting all these exclusives, these big games on this system, so that you could basically play these big launches day one. Like Starfield will be on Game Pass day one. They have said that.
It's tempting. Listen, as someone who doesn't own an Xbox, and I want to play these games, it's tempting.
Yeah, and that's, as I said, I don't own it, but even then, because I hate a subscription based model for video games.
I do too.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like, all right, there's a lot, like I can either spend a lot of money and buy this shit, or I can just pay for the subscription and just play them as I feel like it, and then boop.
That's why I feel like PlayStation Plus is actually good to do, because you get all those free monthly games for the PS4 and the PS5. Yeah. But I want the audience to know that, yes, I was wrong about Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, no, you didn't need to.
No, I want to let them know, because I don't want to promise them that they're going to get it cheaper.
Fair.
It was $69.99, the usual price,
the base.
for the regular
base.
standard edition, and then it was $79.99 for the one with all the digital downloads.
Which I did not get.
Yeah, which I didn't get either.
Me.
So my bad. In my brain, I was like $60 and $70, so I rounded down. You know what I mean? I was I saved so much money.
Can we still say though that, like, you know, as speaking as someone who has been a gamer for pretty much my entire life, $70 is a lot of fucking money.
It's criminal, especially when some games that are pretending to be next gen are just ports with 60 frames per second, and they're charging you $10 more. I'm looking at you, Sony San Diego and MLB The Show. Fuck you. Like, to the point where I haven't done it, but I should. I'm going to contact Sony about it, because it is criminal.
You should see dude, man. They released like a brief trailer for the new Madden, and there's already backlash.
It looks fucking horrible. Somebody did a side by side of Tom Brady in 2002 and Tom Brady in 2022, and I'm like,
what's the difference?
He doesn't have fingernails. It's 2022. These are next gen consoles. You can't even see features on his face.
Well, it's also like they actually, I've seen a video of the Super Bowl celebrations from the last 4 Maddens. They're all the same. There is no difference whatsoever.
But you know what? People are
gonna buy.
Oh no, dude, that game series, from buying the game as well as from the Ultimate Team shit, or the Madden team, whatever the fuck it's called, it makes $4 billion.
I'm gonna start getting a button on here that's ching ching ching.
I used to play those games up until like 2004.
Yeah, dude.
I did. I still play them, but I do not touch Ultimate Team in any game.
I used to play them right before Eagles games. Like, I'd play the team we were gonna play. And
I did that.
Right? And I would tell my dad, I'd be like, we're gonna beat them 21 of this or whatever. And then we would try to see if it would happen. I don't know why, but as a kid, I thought I could make the Eagles.
You know, one thing I used to like that IGN did is that, and maybe they still do it, is they would do like simulations of every week's games. Like, no one would play. They would just show the simulation, and like
I think they still do the Super Bowl simulation.
Yeah.
I think some sites do that.
Yeah. So anyway, I've seen, and it sounds like you guys disagree, some complaints that E3 2021 was a disappointment, but I don't know if you can call it a disappointment, seeing like why it was not as big as some years. Pandemic, companies backing out. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that were like really upset about it were just people that had unrealistic expectations, because we knew like this is already coming off of a whole year of pandemic. Some countries are still in quarantine, so it's longer for them. Like, at least in the US, our companies are getting back to
Germany's still in quarantine.
Yep. I know, Japan is, and that's why people were like, why does Nintendo stuff have all this? I'm like, they're literally have been in quarantine for like over a year.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much you can do from home still. Like that being said, like, I already knew like Sony wasn't gonna have its own thing. I was only disappointed in the fact that they didn't do anything with like Tomb Raider, because it was so rumored before E3, and with it being an anniversary for Tomb Raider. And
was it going to be a reboot or the rumor, or a complete sequel to the
rumor was a new game? So like the trilogy happened of like her origin, and then we're like, they're like rumor like that, you know, they're going to show this off at E3. So I think Square Enix missed a big opportunity to show whatever they had at that point. Maybe they weren't ready, so I'm not going to judge. But
well, you could have done the announcement trailer and start building that hype.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
build the thirst.
Other than like a few things that I think, like, even if Sony, you know, didn't want to fully, Jesus Christ, the thirst real for Lara Croft.
You know it is.
Yeah. Overall, I had fun. I was at home, so like whenever I could turn it on, I was like, cool, Microsoft is on. I'd put on YouTube and just watch one of the live things. It would tell me like 23 minutes until the next show, so I would hurry up and do something else and then switch over. So
eat an eggless bagel and get ready for the next one.
It made me feel good. It reminded me of when I was in high school and I used to watch, you know, E3 on G4 all day. So like I got to watch them stream it live again. So I'm like, G4 is alive, even if it's just on YouTube.
One more game I will talk about because it comes out next month. It's already been out on PC forever, and it's actually one of the only games. It's the first game in a while that like I was blown away by its graphics. Is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah,
it was gorgeous. Like the realistic satellite maps of the Earth and everything. You could fly to all these locations. I
could fly over my house.
You pretty much can.
Yeah,
you can. And so I saw that, and it's like, oh, it comes out July whatever for on the Series X, I was like, yes. Because Heather's like, because I showed the video to
really?
Heather.
Flight Simulator?
Well, and Heather was just like, oh, you just fly? I said, yeah, that's all you do.
That's
I said, but.
They teamed up with Google Maps.
Yeah, they
Probably.
They did.
This is a fun episode, guys. We'll obviously be keeping up with all the gaming news as these games have come out. We will be playing them, the ones that we can at least. I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about Game Pass down the line if that's something maybe I decide to do. Hey, maybe something Brittany decides to do.
One of these days, I got to have you guys over at my place and we can fuck around with the Xbox. You guys can see it.
After the show, I'm going to show you guys a neat little surprise that I got.
Oh, boy.
That's gaming related. But that's going to do it for this show. We will be back next week. Will we be back next week? I just got to double check that real quick. No, we will definitely be back next week. And I'm just going to say it now. And I'm getting you guys prepared. It's got to be the return of Raiders of the Bargain Bin. We haven't done one in a while.
So my birthday is this Friday. So
it's on.
It is on.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
I was like, God, because I was wondering if I should even mention that. Like, we're gonna have to go pick out a movie somewhere.
Can we go to Walmart and physically dig?
I think we have to.
We can. We certainly can.
All right. Raiders of the Bargain Bin, Matt's birthday edition. It's going to be fucking wild.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. So we'll have Loki, we'll have Bad Batch, we'll have Raiders of the Bargain Bin. That's going to do it for episode 102 of Everything is Permitted. For Brittany, for Matt, I'm Julian. Have a good night.
You can find Everything is Permitted on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Everything is Permitted is produced by Rob Migliaccio, Nikki Veazey, and Geneva Stein-Shivers. Our executive producers are Michael Cox, Brittany Tomes and the Tomes family, and Julian Brown.